These are my top 5 WTF moments from The Walking Dead, Season 5, Episode 6. The car flip when Carol and Daryl are in the van and they're trying to escape the zombies, and they shut the door and then they buckle themselves in and the zombies end up pushing the van over the bridge. And if you notice, the van does a flip and it looks like it's going to fall on its roof, and then all of a sudden it's a cutscene and we see that it's landed on its wheels. There's no way that the van would have landed on its wheels. The physics on that was all wrong. It was just kind of weird, but it was funny when, you know, later they're sitting in there and a few moments later the zombies start hitting the top of the van, and so that scene was kind of messed up a little bit. Zombie camping sleeping bags was a pretty disturbing scene. Kind of made me imagine, you know, they're just their little caterpillars and their sleeping bag, and they're just waiting to become beautiful zombie butterflies. Thinking about why they were in there, I think I noticed some bullet holes in the sleeping bag, so it could have been that these people were shot and killed in their sleep and then their supplies taken. Like maybe some people still in the city, they were wrapped up in their blankets, took a gun, you know, maybe shot them in the chest or something. Didn't necessarily shoot them in the head. And so that's how they became zombies trapped in their sleeping bags. Of course, they could have also gotten the flu or something. Kind of not believable that they wouldn't have been able to escape the tents, because we've seen that zombies in force are able to escape things, so that was kind of weird. But the camping scene was definitely kind of a WTF moment, especially considering how they got that way. The cop not noticing Daryl and Carol trailing them, so I know that they knocked out the backlights, but you would still think, with seeing no other cars on the road, you'd notice this person tailing behind you, and then parking on a street that you just went down, and it's like, huh, I didn't notice that car before. I feel like he would have noticed, and then it was kind of interesting when the zombie is pounding on the car window, and the cop looks back, and he's like, oh, you know, usually zombies only try to get in vehicles that have living people, but he really didn't think twice about it. So I'm thinking that either it was a really stupid cop, it's just plot armor because Carol and Daryl are doing their thing, or he actually did notice them, but he wasn't dealing with them at the moment. The art appreciation scene and the whole shelter scene was very nice to see. I like any kind of story with Carol, learning more about her. I mean, we already knew that she was an abused, battered woman, and seeing, you know, that she tried to go to the shelter, and, you know, her and Daryl bonding a little bit more because you know there's something there, and he genuinely really cares for her. I mean, you can see at the end of the episode when he looks close to tears because he lost her again. But the funniest part, and kind of the WTF moment, is when Daryl is like just saying how some rich prick bought that art and it just looks like a dog put paint on its butt and just, you know, scooted around the painting, and Carol's trying to say that she likes it, and, you know, Daryl's like, now I know you better than that. So that was an interesting scene that they decided to add in. Noah stealing the weapons, I kind of say this is a WTF moment because I can't imagine Daryl that easily getting away from his crossbow, and I feel like at this point in the game, he wouldn't have made Carol not shoot him. I think that, you know, he would have known that she's going to injure him enough to get the weapons. And the fact that Daryl just parted with the weapons and his crossbow that easily, I don't know, just didn't seem too believable in me. I did like, however, when he decides to pull the bookshelf down on Noah and, you know, is smoking a cigarette saying, no, I'm just going to let you die. And I sort of feel like maybe that was a test for Carol, because Carol's like, oh, we can't save people anymore. And, you know, Daryl's like, why not? And then, you know, Daryl is, I think, was testing her when he's like, oh, fine, we'll just let him die. You know, he almost killed you. And then he walks away and sees that Carol actually does care and isn't as cold-hearted as she's trying to say she is. She's just trying to be tough. And then he took care of it. Of course, it could also be that Daryl was just really PO'd that Carol almost got hurt because he genuinely cares for her. So those were kind of my top WTF moments of this episode. You can write below, like, subscribe, and come back for more geeky videos every day.